across all time zones, covering both hemispheres. It's time for another featured music special on the ArtistFirst Radio Network, something we have now been doing for 25 years. I know, say it with me, everybody. So how come you guys ain't no good at it? Well, we do try and we do bring you the best new music you have yet to hear. Tonight is no exception to that rule. Very interesting character out of, I think he's still in California. He's born and raised there, I believe, and we're going to find out some details. My pleasure to welcome Mr. Rocky Michaels. Hey, Rocky.
Hey, Z-Man. How you doing?
Doing well. How are things out on the West Coast?
Things are a little smoky with all the fires, but we're doing okay. Yeah.
That's right. Any of those fires near you?
Not directly, but I'm in the Bay Area, Danville, California, about 40 miles just east of San Francisco, and it's definitely in the air. So just, a quick shout out to all the firemen and first responders for just doing, braving the front lines and keeping us all safe. Just wanted to give that shout out.
Yeah, our studio is based in northeastern Ohio. We sometimes it's called the North Coast because it's relatively close to Lake Erie. But every summer it just seems, for as far back as we can remember, how many brain cells we got left. But it just seems to be a constant issue out there. I don't know. I don't know what you have, like 24,000 lightning strikes in an afternoon. I mean, it just seems to be never ending.
It seems like it's definitely increased the crazy weather, the frequency. So, it's I was born and raised out here and still love it. It has so much to offer, from the coast to the Pacific Ocean to the Napa Valley and, Carmel. And so we love it. But it's, anywhere you're at, there are positives and not so positives. So this is unfortunately just what we're dealing with.
Well, as I like to do on these shows, let's talk about you as a human being at first and give the audience a chance to get to know you a bit. As we've stated, you're from California. Did you have a musical childhood?
Did I have a musical childhood? Well, by the way, you mentioned at the top 25 years you've been doing this, so I just need to say that's a fantastic milestone. So kudos to you for a quarter of a century. That's impressive.
Well, thank you. We've had 525 million downloads from our archives just since October of 2007. We didn't have archives prior to that, folks, because it was too expensive. So we had already been in business for 9 years prior to that. But just since then, almost 5.5 billion. Did I say million? I meant billion. No. My brain's not working. It's 500 million. 5.25 million, excuse me.
Any of the above, it all sounds impressive to me. So that's fantastic. So great. So my child, my parents gave me piano lessons when I was 5 years old. And we had an upright piano. And I took piano lessons for about 5 years. And then, when I was 9 or 10, I sort of, it fizzled out, and I had other interests. Back then, 100 years ago, there wasn't any internet, cable TV, so there wasn't a whole lot to do other than, ride your bike or go down and play at the creek. But we always had that piano in our living room, and I would, go back to it every now and then, and it was really just kind of a constant. And so, in retrospect, I thank my mom and dad for sort of forcing piano lessons on me because it really established a great foundation. And when I would go back to it, it would be on my own and because I wanted to. And I still have fond memories of that.
Rocky, I've been playing piano professionally for 42 years, and I started much earlier than that with a story very similar to yours. My mother, God bless her soul, she's still alive. She actually gave me that Story and Clark Spinet that I started with. I've never had any lessons, but it's one of the most cherished pieces of furniture I have because it's too heavy to move.
Well, I'm sure it has a lot of memories to go along with that as well.
And now I grew up in the. I was born in 1959, so when I started playing piano, it was like 1967, and much of the music at that time had very little piano in it. You couldn't lug your piano around. It was all guitar music. That's where the music scene was. I guess what I'm leading to is, when did you switch over to guitar?
Yeah, well, so, on that note, growing up, I'm probably dating myself, but, I would listen to the Eagles, even Billy Joel, as a young piano guy, I certainly took an interest in that. And then, of course, the Stones and kind of, morphed into other things. Guitar, there is a quick middle point. When I was in 7th grade, I decided, I want to play the drums. Drummers are cool. And so in junior high, I signed up for the middle school, not a marching band, but just a band. But it was very short-lived because we had one performance in our auditorium. 400 parents were there, packed in. And back then, they only allowed us 7th graders to have one snare drum. They didn't trust us too much. And I will never forget this. The principal was talking, and he paused, I think, in mid-sentence. Right as he paused, out of the corner of my eye, I saw my snare drums slowly start to tilt. And it was like one of those things in slow motion where I could not stop it in time. And sure enough, right in that pregnant pause, it just crashed to the floor. And all 400 parents, their heads just swiveled around right towards me, and it was such a traumatic experience. So I think that was a sign that maybe percussions were not in my future. But then guitar, after college, I was in a band, and with a buddy. He played guitar, I played piano, and then we added another friend, and I was the lone piano guy, with a bunch of guitarists and bass player, and just hanging around there by osmosis, I suppose. I picked up a couple of, when you learn to play guitar, you start with a G chord and a D chord, and then you can, play 500 songs just with those. Yeah. And one of the things I really liked about guitar was that it was portable. I could take it anywhere with me, and I had such a learning curve. And also, finally, I just say it was good cross-training. If I got stuck on a guitar chord, I would go to the piano and, okay, that's a C-sharp minor. And it was a great sort of evolution for me. So I've only been playing guitar, really, I guess, the past 20 years or so, but piano all my life, basically.
Well, you learn so much about music theory, and listen to me, I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, because I can't read music, yet I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars playing piano. And
you don't need to read music.
No, people think you do. No, not at all. You have to have a good ear and good fingers.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I understand that kids who take music as a major in college all have to take piano in their freshman year. I guess there's a reason, because it teaches you a lot about, first of all, with the piano, you can see it. It's right in front of you. You can actually see what's going on if your brain works that way. But you're right. At the end of every gig, when our band plays, my drummer looks at me and says, I should have played the piccolo. Well, folks, that's because he's got an hour's worth of teardown to do. He's got all those drums and put them all away, carry them out. We don't have roadies or anything like that, but
right, and he's got the biggest car too.
Yeah, well, not really, but yeah, he gets them in there one way or the other. But now on our homepage, we have an advertisement about you, and it's a picture of you wearing a red ball cap and a jean jacket, and there's a guitar. You're holding it by the neck up next to your chin. Is that an ovation?
Wow, impressive. I think that is an ovation, and I will say that was my first guitar, but it's since been retired, and I moved up in the world. I have a Taylor now, which I absolutely love, and yeah, very good eyes.
I sound like I know my guitars. I don't. We had a guitar player played one like that. I always liked the sound of the ovations, though, but. Now, where was that? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, back then I got what I could afford, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And, yes, my fingers got very sore with the strings until I built up the calluses. But I was just appreciative to have a guitar. And Ovations are great guitars, but since then I've been, testing around, and a lot of wonderful guitars out there. But the Taylor that I have now, I absolutely love. And that's pretty much what I play all the time.
Well, I'm getting hate mail already going, when are you going to play a song? Okay, we'll get to a song right now. The first track, now, I guess I should qualify this. All of the music we're going to hear tonight, are these all your original compositions?
They're all my original compositions, absolutely.
Excellent. The first song our guest Rocky Michaels has selected is Our Time Is Now. Give us a little bit of background on that cut before we hear it, please.
Yeah, so this is my environmentally friendly song. It's not intended to be political by any stretch, but, with all the craziness, as I alluded to earlier, it's just a song about encouraging all of us to do what we can, however small we feel our contribution might be, just to try to affect positive change. So I put my thoughts down on paper, and I played it, and, real quickly, I don't have percussion in here except for the tambourine, and that was I was going back and forth. Should I have drums? Should I not have drums? I ultimately decided for this particular song not to have drums because I wanted this to be a uniquely identifiable song. Kind of, in my mind, I was going for a vibe of kind of a campfire, kumbaya kind of song. So, to date, this is actually my most popular song on Spotify, and I'm real thrilled with how it turned out.
If you've been waiting for a sign, wait no more. If you've been standing in line, jump ahead for that door. Our greenhouse is sweltering and the caps are melting away. Our eco keeps trying, those mammals are dying each day. If the sun is the source and father's the time, then mother's the earth, who's now past her prime. So everyone rise up, our time is now. A fleeting moment, now will never come again. So be an impactful change or a positive contagion. 'Cause all that dirty air we're breathing can often be seen. And for our hills and our pastures and lawns, or browns and new green, to the sisters of mercy and brothers in arms, it's family time to save all that harm. So everyone rise up, our time is now. We're just borrowing and must leave behind. For all who will come after or to find. So if the Son is the source and Father's the time, then Mother's the earth who's now past her prime. So everyone rise up, our time is now. Hey, la 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 la, ha la 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 la, ha la 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 la.
That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The music of Rocky Michaels, our featured music special tonight on the Artist First Radio Network. Singer-songwriter, great musician. Very well done, Rocky.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's talk about the whole idea of being a singer-songwriter. I would venture to say the average person will never write a song. And then an even smaller number of people who do write songs never record them and get them on a CD. What motivates you to do that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like my mind is constantly racing. I just in the middle of the night, when I'm driving, when I'm in the shower, I've constantly got all these thoughts, which I'm not sure if that's a blessing or a curse, but it's been just a real joy for me to just sort of put that onto paper. And, it always comes with, vulnerabilities, when you're putting your emotions out there. I mean, a lot of times what I'm writing about now is different than what I was writing about 20 years ago, about perspective and being a parent and so forth. And it's real, and it's, the real feelings are the easiest ones to write about. But, so it's just very gratifying. And even if I get a, hey, I can relate to that, or I know what you're talking about, or a thumbs up, that's my currency. That's really what motivates me.
And isn't that it's just the reality of your occupation. If you were a bus driver or a police officer, you don't have to divulge your deepest, innermost secrets to the entire world. Right.
Yeah, but I think that's also, people are going to like it or they're not going to like it. That's how the world works. But you're not going to please everyone. But for those who do, there's a connection, even if you don't ever meet them, and it's a sort of a relationship and an engagement of, yeah, I totally get it. I know what you're talking about, and I think that's just such a powerful. In this day and age when we're all sort of disconnected behind our computer screens, it's nice to kind of feel some degree of connection, even if it's through lyrics in a song.
How many songs do you think you've written so far?
Oh, I wrote, many years ago, and just in the past 12 months, I've probably written 15 to 20, and a lot of them are on the scrap pile. They're I'm not sure if I'm ever going to do anything with them, but the past 12 months I was making this debut album that just got released a few weeks ago. I feel like my creative juices have just totally just been overflowing. So I love it. It's just it's a great distraction and a great outlet for me.
isn't that weird that it seems to be a pattern among most musicians I've come across that you'll have periods of time where you're just not pretty much doing anything musically, creativity-wise, and then there are times where you just can't shut it off.
Yeah, and you don't have to fight it. I mean, it'll come. Just I'm learning. Try not to force it. I mean, if I try to force something, it's just going to sound fake or just not authentic. So, sometimes I can have a thought or a song or a lyric, very quickly. Other times I'm sort of massaging it for several months, and I'll just keep revisiting it, and like a puzzle. Eventually the pieces are going to fit. You just got to let the process kind of work itself out.
Well, let's jump into another track. This one's called Somewhere. What was happening in your universe when this one came to be?
In my universe. So Somewhere, this was written, actually the first song and this song were all written here in the past several months during the COVID sort of era. This is simply, it's a song of hope. It's a simple song, but sometimes there's great power comes from simplicity. And when I would play it out, this would always be the last song I would play, because it's a song of hope and inclusion and the building of bridges in our society. Simple things. It's not trying to be too Pollyanna-ish, but my hope is that hope begets hope, and if people hear it, maybe they can spread hope going forward. And again, it felt good for me to share this simple but positive message, particularly given the times we're in right now.
Somewhere there's a place beyond the present, where everything is green and no one's blue. Somewhere in the distance we're all equal, where respect and kindness are lasting virtues, where you can shake a neighbor's hand across the bridges, and you can share a common view atop the ridges, where 1 + 1 becomes more than 2, and you can learn from them and they from you. Someday I'm hoping there will be somewhere for you and me. Somewhere we are painting all the colors, beautiful mosaic we create. Somewhere there's harmonious existence, where children grow up pure and free of hate. Yeah, well, you can shake a neighbor's hand across those bridges, and you can share a common view atop the ridges, where 1 + 1 becomes more than 2, and you can learn from them and they from you. Someday I'm hoping there will be somewhere for you and me. Somewhere there's a shared goal of a better place, where everybody rises to the call, where we are caring teammates in the human race, and victory is shared by one and all. Whoa, you can shake a neighbor's hand across some bridges, and you can share a common view atop the ridges. Oh yeah, where 1 + 1 becomes more than 2, somewhere for you and me.
The track is called Somewhere. The guy writing it and singing it's Rocky Michaels. He's our guest tonight. He's in California. We're talking about a new CD he has out, which is, by the way, entitled The Great American Dream. And Rocky, in case somebody can't stay for the whole show, let's tell folks right now, what's the best place for them to go to support you?
Yeah, thank you. So probably the first place, just my website, which is www.rockymichaelsmusic.com. And then from there, I've got all the links to, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Pandora, and my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So that's probably the best starting point.
Folks, by the way, that link is right next to the archive link. If you're listening to this as an archive, that website address is right there. So if you didn't write it down, who cares? Just go and click through. And another thing I'd like to mention, listeners, if you go spend $1 and buy the song from some place like CD Baby, the artist gets about 70 cents. We actually get a little bit more than that because we're grandfathered in. If you go to Spotify, if you download a song, I think you have to download about 500 and you get a penny?
Something like that, yeah. I've got a few thousand. I'm working towards a cup of Starbucks coffee if I do more. So,
well,
Spotify's a great link.
You see what I'm saying, folks? I mean, in the old days, you download a song for $1. If you don't have $1, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you one, and the artist gets to keep. Apple, if you do it through Apple, they take 30%. I think CD Baby takes a smaller percentage. I could be wrong. But don't you think it's worth it to know that the artist actually gets, enough money to buy a small cup of coffee at the Circle K? I'm just saying, all these streaming services are all great, but you know what? They screw the artist. They screw the artist just like old-fashioned AM and FM radio and old-fashioned record labels. All right, we better leave that right there. We're going to move along right away to the next track, which is called Eagle. Well, boy, you could have a lot of meanings for this. How'd this one come about?
Eagle, yeah. So this one is, in short, it's really about rising above the fray, figuratively and literally. I've always been fascinated with flying, and a lot of craziness going on right now. So at times I wish to just kind of rise above the fray. But growing up, I was a huge Eagles fan. Don Henley, Glenn Frey, and if in the lyrics I did drop about a half a dozen Eagles references to either iconic Eagles lyrics or albums. So if you're a true Eagles fan, I'm putting the challenge out there. If you're a true Eagles fan, see how many references you can pick up in the second half of the song.
Sitting on the front porch with a canopy of blue skies covering up above, a bird catches my eye. Atop civilization, its feathered wings are spread out wide and glides the gentle wind as it goes by. I close my eyes and in my mind I see an unencumbered inner kind of me. Oh, I'm an eagle, flying high above the fray, soar through the sky, touch heaven's gate. My eyes see a cleaner sense of you. Oh, I'm an eagle, and I'm free. take it as I go. Overhead the Galita smell, and overheard that mission bell, liberated from the chains below. Flying high with a billion stars around. Neon skies, refuge from the ground. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I'm an eagle. Flying high above the fray, soar through the sky, touch heaven's gate. My eyes see a keener sense of you. Oh, I'm an eagle, and I'm free. Oh, I'm an eagle. Flying high above the fray, soar through the sky, touch heaven's gate. My eyes see a keener sense of you. Oh, oh, oh. I'm an eagle. And I'm look at me, I'm flying. Oh, I'm an eagle. Yeah, look at me, I'm flying. Yeah, and I'm free.
The best new music you've never heard. That's been our slogan for 25 years. And our other slogan is, we can lose money better than anyone. You're listening to the Artist First Radio Network. I'm Z-Man in Studio 1A. We feature the best new independent artists out there. Yeah, and some of the big boys, but, the big boys don't need our help. Folks like Rocky Michaels, our guest tonight, could sure use your help. How about getting out there and downloading a song or two? They make a lot more money when you download the song, and they make virtually nothing if you stream it. All right, I don't want to beat that into people's heads quite yet, but now, Rocky, where would you rather spend this coming weekend? Let's see, it's Labor Day weekend 2020 coming up. Where would you rather be, squirreled away in your studio or on stage somewhere?
Oh my goodness! I'll take both, but I sure miss being out and connecting with the people. I just began playing out and played a couple of places for a few months, and then COVID hit. So I've been streaming online every week, which is great. I have my Thursday threes, and that's wonderful. But it doesn't truly replace just being out there and being, reading the audience. And we'll get there again. We'll all get through this.
Ever get hit in the head with a chunk of ice from about 5 tables back?
No, but I can imagine that probably hurts.
I didn't go down. I stand when I play piano on stage. I stand, so I was able to grab onto the piano and not face plant. I'm sorry.
You immediately went into Foreigner's Cold as Ice, right?
Yeah, that would have been a good talk. Any crazy stuff happened to you while you're playing live?
No ice being thrown at me. This is years ago, there was a drunk fireman who came up after a show when I was, years ago when I was in a band with my buddies, my first band, and he was hugging everybody and drunk, and he wouldn't get off the stage. He was very appreciative, but it took several minutes to actually get him to sit down so we can continue with our set. But aside from that, even in my solo career, it's been pretty tame. People just are there listening, and no crazy stories. So I'm knocking on wood here. Hopefully we'll keep that streak going.
It's amazing what alcohol can do to seemingly rational, normal people if you get enough of it into them.
Yes, I tell you.
Do you have a favorite spot that you've played so far?
Favorite spot? Let's see. So there is a place in Berkeley called the Back Room, and it's a very historic place. It's very small and intimate. It's got a brick background to it. Acoustics are fantastic. And it was just, instead of chairs, it's a bunch of couches, and it's just really warm and inviting, and I just have really fond memories of that.
It's great. Some folks like playing on big stages in front of a lot of people, but it's rather impersonal. When you're playing for a crowd of 10, you can't be messing up because everybody's right there and they're staring at. I think that's a more difficult crowd, the smaller that it is. But, okay, we're getting into the Hawaiian music now. What's this next track?
Yeah, so this next one is called Hanalei, and this is definitely my Hawaiian theme on the album. Years ago, my wife and I had the good fortune of visiting Hawaii. We visited the town Hanalei. We had never been there before. It's been there for years. And we immediately fell in love with it. And ever since then, it's affectionately been known as our happy place. So when the stresses of life get a bit intense, we tell each other, hey, just remember your happy place. So definitely a Hawaiian happy song to get to when you feel like you need to escape.
Kahio Highway and cross a bridge toward the ocean sky, and to a little town called Hanalei. Northern edge of paradise, I stop at JoJo's for shaved ice, and all my worries so far away, where the water's crystal clear and the troubles disappear. Everything's fine here in Hanalei. Back at home it's a different scene, and concrete jungles replace green, and sometimes it's just so hard to breathe. For my home, Hanalei. I see those misty mountains in my mind, and I feel the weight of madness left behind. Close my eyes and I see the trees, the coconuts swaying in the breeze, and warm sand between my toes I feel. Oh, now I keep it with and hold it dear, but Hanalei, they're not here. Who need to find my way back for real? 'Cause when the sun shines on my face, I'll be back in my happy place. I'll be back in Hanalei.
Great music, ladies and gentlemen. The artist is Rocky Michaels. The album is called The Great American Dream. You know, there's a song about that, and we're going to play it when we go out in a few minutes. But, Rocky, do you come from a music family? Is music something that's like, what's that old thing? Is it nature or nurture?
It's, I think my parents are musical, but I don't think they really, they really spend a lot of time. I know my dad loves to play play piano, and he's got a great ear. So maybe I inherited his great ear. And my brother and sister, I think they took some lessons, but it wasn't really out in front. So, it's probably a combination of both.
Well, things have changed so much in the music business. You know, I was going to say over the past 20 years, heck, over the past 9 years, things have gotten completely different. I don't like a lot of the music that's making money today. I think it's juvenile. I think the people making it, they're not really musicians. They can play with their computer. It's not like it used to be. Now I'm sounding like an old fuddy-duddy. What's your impression?
No, I mean, we have I have an electric keyboard, which is great, but there's nothing that really replaces the joy of just, getting to a piano. And actually, it sounds silly. I love to play the piano in the dark. Just kind of get immersed in it and just hear the sound. And it's great to have the technology, but in my mind, nothing replaces the actual instruments themselves.
If you can't play any instrument, and you can't sing, and you can't write music, you're a Grammy winner.
Oh, is that? I'm doing it all wrong, I guess. I don't know.
You guys can go ahead and send hate mail to dj@artistfirst.com. We're big boys. We can take it. Do you look at your music like maybe somebody look at children? You know, is it just a piece of work that you're done with it, you put it away, or do some of these songs really, I mean, they're creations. Do you have a deeper connection to some of your music than others?
I definitely have a connection to my music because it's basically it's my life stories. I think this next song you're going to play, Book of Memories, it's a song about different experiences that I have and certain defining moments that, like your first kiss. There's a line in there about a kiss, behind the old oak tree, and that's what happened to me, and getting married, and you collect these moments, and as you grow older, hopefully have these wonderful moments to kind of keep you going and keep you warm at night. So it's very personal to me, and they all have special meaning to me.
Well, here's the next track, folks, from Rocky Michaels. This one's called Book of Memories.
Once upon a time, many years ago, little Tommy was brought into this earth. Said his father to his mother, it's a feeling like no other. Thank you, Lord, for giving us his birth. Well, Tommy grew up fast, and he got himself a girl, and his whole world changed when he and Jen first kissed. It was after school one day, by the oak tree where they'd play, and Tommy swore he'd never forget this. Life is a book of memories. Well, a few years down the road, he asked Jenny for her hand. Late one night with the moonlit sky above. And then the words he heard from her, he'd remember forever. Yes, my darling, you're the one I love. Well, Tom and his new bride soon had a child of their own, and he remembers holding his newborn that first day, saying, son, you are so sweet. Oh, you've made my life complete, and I wouldn't want this any other way. Singing to him, la 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 la, yeah, yeah. Moments come and moments go, so take what you can seize. Son, life is your book of memories. Well, many years gone by, and time has made him age. In old Tom's eyes, they barely let him see, but he kept those pictures in his mind. And as he turns the mantle pages, he smiles thinking, life's been good to me. Oh, and he's singing, la 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 la, yeah, yeah. Moments come and moments go, so take what you can seize. Life is a book of memories. Oh, life is a book of memories.
We've been spending an hour with Rocky Michaels, as you guys have just heard. He's an outstanding singer-songwriter. He's out in California, but it doesn't matter where he is because you can find his music at all these different places he's about to tell you. Where can they get you, Rocky?
Yeah, thank you, Z-Man. Probably the best place is just to start with my website, www.rockymichaelsmusic.com. There you've got all the links to Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, and social media accounts. And I also have videos, too. Not every song, but many of the songs played today, I have videos. So there's a video link, or you can go to YouTube, and a lot of fun making the videos.
Now, when you play a live gig, do you keep an extra mic stand next to you so you can beat back the women that are trying to climb on the stage?
So apparently you have not been to my gigs before. No, that is not the case. But it's a nice thought.
Yeah, and you know what? It's never the oh God, I won't say it, but I'm going to. Yes, it's never the good-looking ones that try to get you on the stage. Anyway, yeah, go ahead, send hate mail, folks. I'm used to it. I've been around. We've got about 2 minutes before we have to wrap because your last song is about 5 minutes long, and we want to get it in the whole song in before the end of the show. So, is there anyone you would like to recognize or acknowledge tonight?
Oh yeah, well, thank you. Well, I did mention my mom and dad for, I say jokingly, forcing piano lessons on me when I was 5, but they've been a great support for me. And really right now I have to give a just special loving shout out to my wife, Roberta, and our 2 boys, Josh and Jacob. They're really supportive. They think it's kind of cool that their old man is doing this, and it's fun to see them kind of excited. And my wife is just so supportive, just letting me do my thing. And she definitely has been a great source of support. So I thank them all, and I love them all.
Special thanks to your wife. It's very difficult, ladies and gentlemen, to be married to a musician, especially one that's working. And to keep a marriage together with a working musician is people that are working at it. So she deserves a special thanks.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my mind is always somewhere, so it's I'm trying to compartmentalize when I got to turn my head off the lyrics and focus on other things. But it's a great situation.
Well, congratulations on a wonderful project, folks. The CD title is The Great American Dream. Now, Rocky, what did I see on the website earlier today? As I was scrolling down, do you have another CD project underway? What was that?
Yeah, so I just finished my 10-song CD, the debut album that's out there. I have song number 1 for my second album, which won't be released for another couple of weeks. I'm not sure. I'm taking it a song at a time. I'm going to release a single at a time. I'm not sure how far I'll get, but definitely have another song. I want to keep the pipeline full, and so that'll be coming out in the next few weeks. For those who want to take a peek, I'll have some previews along the way.
And folks, due to the warp time field or whatever we call it with the archives, that CD may be out. And it may be right next to the archive you're listening to now about the Great American Dream CD. Rocky, come back when your next CD's ready. We'd love to have you. Folks, you're going to be hearing Rocky's music on our station. We think it absolutely deserves to be in our station rotation. Congratulations, Rocky.
Thank you, Z-Man. Appreciate the love, and thanks for the time.
All right, we got just enough time to fit the last track in. Now, must be important because not only is it called The Great American Dream, but so is your CD. So tell us about this track.
Yeah, well, real quickly, this was actually written in my 20s. When I was in a band, everyone else was either married or had girlfriends, and, I was the lone bachelor of the group. So, I just wanted what I saw everyone else had. And keep in mind, this is written from the perspective of a young 20-year-old. I'm fortunate to be in the situation I'm in now. But I just basically wanted what I thought everyone else wanted and, didn't want to die before living the great American dream.
Be well and come back as soon as you're ready. You got friends here, and we are at your disposal. We'll help you in any way we can.
Thanks so much, Z-Man. Appreciate it.
Down on the beach, there's a guy and his girl holding hands. He kisses her as the horizon sun touches the sand. And a few miles down, there's a couple walking the dawn. They'll return home, she'll make dinner, he'll throw one log. They say if you work very hard, you can go far, yeah. And you'll find happiness and success there wherever you are. Down at work, he's climbing the ladder, more awards on his shelves. Oh, but he'll hurry home, 'cause his kids want them all to themselves. Oh, the great American dream. Life can be full of false promises, so it may seem. Where is my great American dream? Will it always elude me? Can it break the routine? Or am I too late for the great American dream? Now everything's changed since I left my old high school. John bought a house on the hill with a big swimming pool. And Bob's 31 and that son of a gun settled down. He and his bride with a child by the side live in town. 2.5 kids. No, no. And I don't need to live in the suburban development grids. I just want a good life with a sweet loving wife and a place to call